Now, it's back to the MCG for 3AW's coverage of the round 4 clash between the Dons and the Lions.
Yeah, welcome back. All thanks to McDonald's. A 49-point margin to Essendon at half-time, 72-23. Before the bounces, both teams are just going to their respective ends. Jackie Reid, please, Jackie, if you'd come in for an update for McGregor Portables, for custom-designed portable building solutions. Make sure you get a McGregor.
Yeah, there's a couple of niggles down here. Tom Bellchambers had a bit of a painkillers just now on the ground for his right shoulder. Dyson Heppel had his left quad restrapped just before halftime. Adam Sard had a cut above his eye, which has been sorted out. David Zaharakis right in front of me is still having a bit of treatment on that right shoulder following that first quarter collision. The Lions bench looks all clear at the moment. It is surprisingly calm on that bench. Chris Fagan is down there. They haven't been gesturing too much. They're not too fired up. They're sort of just sitting there and observing what's going on at the moment, hoping they can turn it around.
Thanks very much, Jackie. Quick word from you, please, Lloydie, before the bounce. Essendon, 49 points to the good.
Well, they just have to, the midfield group of the Brisbane Lions have to get it going. Can they get the ball in there enough and try and keep it in there? They haven't done a good job of that. Getting beaten at the clearances, and then the forward line of Cameron, Rayner, Hipwood, all McStay, all haven't fired, McInerney, all haven't fired a shot. So, and then the pressure when Essendon get it has to be better from Brisbane.
Tim, let's start the third quarter for Robot Building Supplies. It is a 49-point margin to Essendon.
Yes, it is. It's, as you said, Tone, a fair dinkum flogging here at the MCG. And it's fair dinkum unbelievable down at Geelong because the Giants have hit right back. They're within a kick. And they're playing like winners. Heppel drives Essendon forward here. And Mitchell Brown takes a mark at the 50. He can kick it a mile. He doesn't try to this time. He sits it up for Zach Clark, who's just too tall for Andrews. And he takes the mark, 30 out, slight angle. McDonald, Woody came in and gave Harris Andrews a bit of lip. And Harris didn't enjoy it terribly much, and he'll enjoy it less if Clark can poke this through for another goal and take the lead out beyond 9 goals. To the punt road end, he comes in and he misses. He just pushed it across the face. 50 points the margin, 11-7, 73 to 3-5, 23 a minute into the third quarter.
You've got to marvel as Jackie, when she did her ground conditions for First National Real Estate, you've got to marvel how this ground so brilliantly recovers, Lloydie. You wouldn't think there was a game played here last night, so even the bounce is and true the bounce is.
Yes, perfect condition out there.
So, beautiful afternoon, all thanks to First National Real Estate, and they put you first. As Brisbane knock it around defensively, little handball as Hodge started it, ran across goal to the southern side, goes on, great strength, Heppel, just too big for his man. Lots of yelling that time then from Zorko. McDonald, Woody barges into his man. Harris Andrews was there, gave to Walker, kicks across goal defensively. McCluggage has got it. Now they've got a clean outlet as Neil, who's been good today, takes it at half-back, right on attacking 50, northern side. To the wing the ball goes, bravely having to cop it. Hurley, Lee got one right in the back. It was fair.
Yeah, stood under the ball, but when a player jumps from behind with his knee up, it's going to hurt. He's a little bit sore, but he's okay.
So, for Robot Building Supplies, 2 minutes gone, third quarter, Tim. Essendon 73, Brisbane 23.
Giants have hit the front, round the grounds for Meebank, down at Geelong, middle of the third quarter. Brisbane's ball here, all under pressure. Eventually Hodge stands his ground as he always has done and always will do, and he kicks with the wrong foot up to McInerney, who marks, hand pass to McLuggage, a kick to a leading Hipwood, but reaching around him, Ambrose makes a fine spoil and knocks the ball over the boundary line, just Brisbane's side of the members' wing. 73 to 23, Bombers by 50.
Gets all the big jobs, Ambrose, and he's not giving Hipwood an inch today. Just Hipwood, just the 4 disposals.
So Zorko from the throw-in emerges and goes long to fall forward. Nearly Gardner as Sard has given away a free kick.
That was interesting. 2 bodies pushing into each other, and the umpires judged that Sard was the one holding Cameron's free kick.
Umpire, let's have a look at the Yarra Valley and Croydon Toyota replay. What do you think on second look, Lee? No problem.
I haven't seen the replay yet to give the answer to that
sorry,
question.
Mate, I just saw, I saw it up there. Didn't look a great deal in it. Gardner, 25 out, angle at half forward pocket right. Angle's beyond 45, but shouldn't be too wasn't much of an issue. And not for the first time, he's missed again and gone way left.
He's had 3 very kickable shots, Charlie Cameron, and missed all 3.
So short on the kick in, McGrath takes it, gives off a handball, and Essendon move it from defence. They're 73, Brisbane 24.
Well done, McCluggage here as he intercepted a kick and then collected the deflection. Gave to Rich. Centering ball was good and very well marked for Brisbane by McInerney, the only man on the ground who could have marked that because he was at full stretch and he just managed to pluck it. He's directly in front, 25 metres out, and should goal. And he kicked this at the Gabba 9 times out of 10. We've seen him kick these, Lee. So,
well, no, he's 20 metres, 25 metres out straight in front. And that's that gimme difference I keep joking about, because the pressure's on you. You know you should kick it, but you're not close enough to be a certainty.
They shouldn't miss this. He comes in, 30 out when he lets it go, and he puts it through and draws a bit of excitement from behind the sticks at the city city end of the ground, which Brisbane fans have made their own. It's 11-7, 73 Essendon, 4-6, 30. The Lions 5 minutes in, 3-quarter time at Geelong, and I think the Cats hit the front just before the
goal to Tommy Hawkins. Puts them back in front by a point at 3-quarter time. But good to see them get a repeat entry there, Brisbane. It's come out of their forward line far too easy, and it was Hugh McCluggage involved there. He's developed beautifully this year. Now 15 disposals, only second to Lachie Neale for the Brisbane Lions. 43
points is the margin. We are 5.5 minutes into the third quarter. Essendon very, very comfortable at the moment. Crowd certainly mid to high 30,000s, I think. Beautiful afternoon. Bounce. Bell Chambers, the tap. Coming through hard that time, Lyons. Now he's over the ball lines and Heppel not allowing him any latitude. So we get another ball tossed up right in the middle of the MCG. Tossed up again. Maybe Bell Chambers might have got a tiny tap on it. But through Berry they go toward wing half forward. But not much is doing. Redmond tried to be clever then. The ball's now officially turned over. Matheson handball to Charlie Gardner. A pass goes in, push in the back rainer, surely. Umpire said no, and Hooker allowed to clean up, got the ball to Hurley.
Bomber fans feel that was far more competent umpiring than a little while ago when it went the other way as the Bombers clear it and Zach Clark takes a mark between half-back and wing. He passes.
That is such an obvious free kick on the Yarra Valley 200 replay. I don't know why the umpire thought it was not.
The Bombers break away here, but the ball's got to come back. I've got this theory, Lee, that sometimes if you make it obvious enough, the umpire thinks his eyes deceived him because no one would do what just happened. Bombers go forward into the 50. Devon Smith from behind takes a mark. Berry was in front, should have held his ground more strongly. Smith maybe with a little bit of knee in the back took him under, but
just read it better, to be honest. Yeah. Berry was under the ball, and I think Gardner was behind the flight. It was just Devon Smith just read it beautifully, just a clear leap into the mark.
Had to go stronger though, and Harris Andrews let him know about it.
The perky Devon Smith from just inside 50, 45-degree angle, has gone across the goalface, hasn't got the distance as it turns out, and Josh Walker takes the mark in the last line of defence for the Lions and just kicks short across the goalface to Gardner.
So 43 points is the Bombers' lead. Not dangerous, but just a little palpitation. So he goes to the corridor to Hodge. Now that's an excellent kick to Neale. Wants to release the ball quickly. Has he got someone there? He does. McCluggage, sideways handball met by Witherden on the northern wing. Long kick inside, attacking 50. Good body work that time. Well done to Essendon. As Hooker just eased McStay out with the big-bodied defender. And they're having a very good afternoon down back. Handball went back to Hurley, who copped the knock before, to a contest on the northern wing. Merritt's there. Underground handball. Matheson to get back there. Rode a bump through traffic. Handball was all right to Lyons. To Witherden. Back then to Neale. Neale's kicked toward full forward. In front, Hurley can't complete the mark. Christensen's there. Handball wide against the boundary line. McCluggage. Will he have a fly from a tight angle? That's a magnificent goal. Well done, Hugh McCluggage. That's a beauty. And it was well set up also as Brisbane have the first 2 goals of the third quarter. 9 minutes gone. Robot Building Supply scoreboard. They're 5-6-36, but still some distance behind the Bombers, who are 11-7-73, and just at 3-quarter time. So ME Bank, here we go around the grounds, or down to Geelong, a 1-point margin. The Cats 68, Giants 67. Here's Matty Lloyd.
Yeah, good work from the Brisbane Lions. They're winning it. As I said, the Bombers have been too good on the contested possession, but Brisbane are winning that department, and then it's allowing them to spread. They're winning the uncontested possession. Players like McCluggage, 6 disposals. Suddenly Hodge can set up behind the ball. He hardly touched it in the first half. He's had 4 in this third quarter. Lockie Neal leading the way again with another 4 in this third quarter. So really good from Brisbane. They've fought back in every game this year, so good signs here.
McCluggage just kicked 2 beautiful goals, both at that end, first and third quarters. They break again. Berry in towards full forward. Hurley appealing for a free kick, won't get it. And it goes through for a behind. So it's 11-7 to 5-7. The Lions almost back in touch, but it's very unlikely the way this game's been played. Kick in is good. Long clears the 50, and Heppel makes it better by taking a mark. Kicking towards Devon Smith, who knocked it on but had no runners. Taken by Neal to Robertson and to Gardner, who pokes it wide. Stephen Martin marks right on the members' wing.
Lockie Neal's really trying to drag them into the game. His fantastic third quarter as the Martin kick fell a little bit short in front. Heppel at his feet. Zaharakis. Smith just bounces off an opponent. The left foot into the corridor at the back brown. I think he gave away a free kick.
And Hurley and Hooker look so good behind the ball. They have to somehow try and get their run going to lower the eyes into some leading players.
Andrews has it. Goes onto a left foot. Bit rare. Christensen stays down. Good knock away by the defender from Essendon. Oh, Merrick did a little circle. Handball. Fantasia to Mitch Brown. A looping one. Bagley on the end of it. 30 out. Tight angle. Oh, and he's missed. And when I mean tight angle, I don't mean impossible. It was tight-ish running at speed. One behind results. 11-8-74 Essendon over Brisbane, who are 5-7-37. For Robot Building Supplies, Lee, quick word before Tim.
Well, the Lions at least are in the contest again. I mean, obviously the scoreboard, it's a six-goal margin. They're about a goal from being back in the game, to be honest. If they get the next goal, certainly the next 2, they're in the game.
Oh, they might have coughed one up with a turnover as they tried to just open things up with some short play. A bad hand pass let the Bombers in, but Brisbane have been able to hold things up and force a ball up 30 out from goal. And out towards the southern flank. Umpire Margetts to throw it up. Bellchambers, Martin against him. Bellchambers edge Martin out of the way. Fantasia been dangerous. Gives to McGrath. Bending it back from a long way. Walker did well for Brisbane. Sensed that he could take the mark. And he went for it confidently, and he did at the top of the defensive goal square. He kicks short, and Zorko marks this as they try and open it up again. Short to Neal, but they're closing in on him, and he can't escape.
How many for the quarter for Neal, please?
This is number 7, and this will be disposal 26.
Yeah, he's been absolutely... And just the work inside, I think, catches a few people by surprise. As he went to Witherden, surely a Brisbane free kick there. Through traffic once, through traffic twice. Neal gives it back to Witherden. Little handball over the top that time to Andrews. Shizorko. Kicks awful. And it's just Essendon just picking him off at will defensively. With Donald Tippenwoody wide. Zaharakis, point of the square defensive. And every time something just looks that tiny bit positive, not a great deal happening. 11-8-74 to 5-7-37. Hooker with the ball, he can go out wide. Tim, and Ambrose has got it on the southern wing.
Yeah, they own the wing. Forward of the wing he goes, and Devon Smith marks, trots forward. Neal corrals him. The kick is up towards the forward pocket. It slides off hands to the back where Bagley's dangerous. He paddles it in the Hooker direction. First man there was Hodge. Hooker had to get him off the ball. The footy comes loose. Myers has it. He's surrounded. Managed to get rid of it. Spillage taken by Andrews for Brisbane. Clearing ball. Out over half-back. Neal, McDonald, Tippenwoody. And now Zorko. Twisting, turning, getting it onto his boot. Clever kick for Christensen. A good tackle. Christensen releases for Stephen Martin. He's tackle brought down. Bombers are still very intense. McDonald Tippenwoody's got it. He's taken to the deck, and there'll be a ball up Essendon side of the centre line favouring the southern wing. It's 74-37, and the Bombers have been about twice as good.
Yeah, been challenged and responding, Essendon, even though they're a mile in front. Picked up by Berry from the stoppage on the wing. To half 40 goes. Hit with the target, but Ambrose stays down inside attacking 50. Hurley had to stand his ground. Berry gets back to the contest. Well done, Bombers defence. As the handball to McGrath ran into trouble that time. Coming through Redmond. Handball to Hawker. Back to Fantasia. It's outside defensive 50. Great pressure now as Zorko made him turn it over. Witherden got a kick. I think it may well be coming back, and it's a free kick to Brisbane.
Oh, and the ball went through for a goal. The kick went from the umpire doesn't know. But if it went through and they've got a free kick and play was continuous.
Yeah, because it's interesting. Oh, well, I guess once you've said there's no advantage, it doesn't matter what happens. But as you say, Tim, it was just a quick kick forward that bounced through for a goal, but already the ball was coming back.
So, Tim, Brisbane trying to set it up at centre-half forward, trailing by 37 points. 15 minutes, third quarter, Robot Building Supplies.
I'd like you to pick that apart on Footy Classified on Monday night, Lloydie, where the vision, of course, tells the story. Witherden receives a hand pass here. Kick poor, high and wide. Essendon's footy. Parrish got a hand pass towards Zaharakis, knocked away from him. Danger hasn't passed for the Bombers. Zaharakis goes back to it. Gives to Hurley, who swings it clear. Gardner in the preferred spot for Brisbane, but it's near the boundary line. Brown made it a contest for the Bombers, and there was only going to be one result, and that was over the line. Out of bounds, as Captain Blood used to say, to be thrown in by the boundary umpire.
Great tone. I love this from Brisbane because they've just stopped all Essendon's strength, so there's no run carry happening at all. It's just hack kicks like this from McGrath.
Yeah, one and half back from the stoppage. McGrath's kick to half forward northern side. Bagley, the knock over the top was excellent. To Brown, to Tip and Woody, who went past it. Brown got back there. I thought he drew high contact. This time advantage paid, and McConnell, Tip and Woody has got it. Now Bagley wanted on a much tighter angle forward pocket. McDonald, Tip and Woody's on the northern side to the punt road end, Lee, from 40 metres, 45-degree angle.
No, he's been on today. Kicked the first goal. He's kicked three. He's always looked dangerous, both the offensiveness of the offensive speed, but then the defensive speed to lock the ball in. He's been really good.
So Essendon without a goal in this third quarter, but comfortably in front, 16 minutes gone. McDonald, Tip and Woody hit it sweetly. Well done. 12-8-80. To Brisbane, 5-7-37. Around the grounds for M.E. Bank. It is a 1-point margin, which is now a 7-point margin in favour of the Cats. But 4 goals.
To Waller. McDonald, Tip and Woody.
For the second week in a row too for Waller. So he's in really good form.
It's almost as if Essendon relished being challenged. It was floating the first few minutes of that quarter, Lloydie, but when Brisbane kicked a couple of goals, it really just ramped up more than just a tiny bit.
Yeah, obviously they've been dominant all day, the Bombers, and but I just like the fact that Brisbane, they're down. That not many would believe they can win this game, but just the courage to fight this out. Youngish group with some experienced players. Hopefully that goal there doesn't derail that, and they can keep fighting through and try and eat in this lead a little bit.
Yeah, 2-goal swing with 2 possible advantage calls, only one of which was paid. Down at the other end, the ball went through for a goal, but the umpire insisted it come back. That time, McDonald, Tip and Woody had the benefit of the advantage and kicked a goal. Brisbane go forward. Mitch Robinson drives them deep, and Zorko takes a fine mark. 60 out, left half forward flank. Wastes no time. 2-on-2 in front of goal. Kick a bit strong for Hipwood. It spills out to the pocket. Christensen first. They gave to Berry. Back to Christensen. A pokey little pass. Intercepted by Merritt, who's then brought down. Spillage to Matheson, who off almost a standing start swings it through for a goal, to the howls of derision from the Bomber fans, who reckon they should have got a free kick for a bit of a hold by the arm, but it's not paid, and perhaps things have just about squared off. Essendon 12-8-80, Brisbane 6-7-43 on the Robot Building Supplies score.
Yeah, you're going to think, you say earlier in the quarter, Rayner didn't get paid a pretty obvious push in the back, and that was a very obvious tug of the arm that wasn't played. So the most you could say is 2 mistakes. but it equalised the two teams.
Hey, Matthew, speaking of Cam Rayner, I've barely noticed him today. Is that reflected on the stat sheet?
Yet to touch it in this third quarter, and he only had a couple of touches in that first half. He's had 2 touches to half-time and none in this third quarter.
Jackie, any injuries on the bench down there for McGregor Portables?
No, I would say though that the Lions did very well to score then with Lachie Neale off the ground for the last couple of minutes, so they've done well to cover his absence.
37 points is the Bombers' lead. Back in the middle of the ground, Bell Chambers, the tap, nice bounce, favours Merritt. Essendon at centre half forward or more half forward. Stringer almost completed a great mark that time. Little handball goes to Berry defensively. Put it on the deck, free kick Essendon. Great tackle Merritt, who's having a beauty today. And they can just go very, very short. I don't know the 15 metres exists anymore, Tim.
No, don't agree.
Unless it's only just... anyway. Zaharakis' kick, the full forward, Essendon into attack. Ball knocked in front of the pack by Witherden. Charging through Hodge, has to go backwards, handball to Christensen. Back to Neale, to Harris Andrews. Round the body. That's a lovely kick. Low and hard, the kick that time, Lee. Found Jared Berry outside defensive 50 for Brisbane.
Good use, but good composure out of the back 50. They a lot of touches of the ball, but at least they found the target. Back flank.
There were a couple of pigeons caught right in a skirmish up there in front of Essendon's goal. I reckon one of them might have copped a bit of contact. Bombers football in midfield. Shield runs forward. He stabs his left foot kick, but he completely miscued it. And it's picked up by Berry for Brisbane. He hand passes wide to Cameron. Good kick. Finds McStay on the wing. Hand pass to Martin running forward. Poor kick. Straight to Hurley as though it was intended for him. He marks a defensive 50. Goes across ground to McKenna, who stutters, delays and then kicks well for Mitch Brown between half-back and wing.
Yep, 37 the margin in favour of the Bombers. Just a careful kick over the top to Redmond on the wing. Makes his opponent chase hard. Then pulls up to the leading McDonald, Tiffin Woody, who ran to him, and the pass from Ridley was a beauty to half forward. That's even better. Ample marks, half forward right, 55 out, wheels onto the left boot. Long to full forward, Essendon full tilt now. Stringer has it knocked away. Ball in disputed centre half forward for Essendon. McStay, though, won the ball. A little slow to release the ball that time. McCluggage put his man Lyons under pressure, turned over. It was taken then by Merritt, whose handball was partially smothered and only ran out of bounds, but Essendon in the last 5 minutes have really lifted. They're comfortably in front. It's 12.880 on the Robot Building Supply scoreboard. Brisbane 6-7-43, and when it's tossed in, Tim, it'll be about 55 around, half forward left with the Bombers into attack.
And they're further into attack as Devon Smith gets a quick kick forward off the throw in. Nick Robertson arrives. He runs out of bounds. He held the ball in, I thought, but the boundary umpire didn't. It'll be thrown in. I don't want to harp on this, but 15 out from Essendon's goal. There are 2 pigeons, and the play's been going all around them. The pickings must be so good that to use the kind of line that one of my predecessors here would have used, Tone, they couldn't give a start. That will throw in the Bombers, boot the ball out of bounds on the full, and it'll be coming
very
back.
Very brave pigeons, I think, Tim.
Where else would you want to be, though, Tim, on a nice sunny afternoon?
There.
Yeah, although think of the time of the year, it's very much Last Supper. They're having those 2 pigeons there. They are just asking for is the clearing kick from the Brisbane defence to a pack on the wing as Hooker took it off the pack. Essendon are going to win the ball. In fact, the mark's going to be paid to Hooker. As Charlie Cameron is just sort of shadowing Sard. Hooker, though, to the forward pocket. Punt road end. Big fly Stringer. Can't get the ball. Parrish came through. Handball missed. Lions, though, won it back. Gave it quickly to Witherden, who hurries a kick, and it's effective as well as Jared Berry has got the ball for Brisbane. 23 minutes gone. Essendon 80. Brisbane 43, as it is a 6-point lead also down at Geelong into the last quarter there.
Long ball to the wing. No one can mark. Sard. Oh, superbly done as he danced through close to the boundary line. In fact, right on it. Got a left foot kick, but it was straight to Witherden, who works it to Hodge. He kicks straight away to Rich, running to the centre, and then using that left foot of his to Charlie Cameron, who got up and then dropped the mark. Still a chance for Cameron. Got it, fumbled it, got it back, swings with the left. It is not his day. It's official. He should have kicked 2 goals there. As it is, he finishes up with 1 behind. It's 12-8-80 to 6-8-44. Essendon by 36, 23.5 gone, and it's all on the Robot Building Supplies scoreboard.
Playing much better, the Lions, but clearly when you're 6 or 7 goals behind, you've got to play more than a little better. You've got to play a lot better, but just can't really get the margin.
Hurley long on the kick, and there's a lot of body work, and it's taking place off the ball. It's a free kick to Jared Berry, but even before the ball got there, Lloydie, there's a lot of holding.
There is, but that's what I like about what Brisbane's done. They've just not allowed the time and the space, and they're even blocking Essendon's run. And players like Shield, 2 disposals, McKenna, 2 disposals. They've nullified those players.
Berry to the forward pocket. It's knocked out of bounds. It's for M.E. Bank. We go around the grounds down to Geelong. About halfway into the final quarter. Scores level at 75 points each. Here it's a 36-point lead, Tim, to the Bombers, but a reasonable chance 30 out as the ball comes in for Brisbane to score.
McInerney and Clark, couple of tall men. Clark rucked and roved and then gave to McKenna, who's tackled. Tried to get boot to ball but missed. Picked up by Rayner. A rare touch of the Sherrin. He had to just scramble a kick towards the behind post where 2 or 3 opponents knocked the ball over the boundary line, and there will be a throw-in as Brisbane search for those couple of elusive goals to be in touch by 3/4 time. Throw in Shield. A hand pass to Myers. A long clearing ball, but Walker's in the way for Brisbane. Takes the mark between wing and half forward. Goes into the corridor to Hodge, the playmaker from half back. And he'll dab a little pass to Harris Andrews, who runs forward. Kicks low with the left. Not sure whether it went where he intended, and it's easy for Essendon. Merritt gives to Myers, short kick to Waller.
Yeah, at half-back. Goes back to Merritt, playing brilliantly today. That's a beautiful kick, 40 up the ground. Taken there by Heppel. Sidesteps his man to send half forward. Essendon can raffle it. They have got them absolutely strung out. Brown goes wide. A chance, there's a man free in the square. McGrath goes high and wide to get to Waller, who started. Almost could have taken a chest mark. Won the ball ground level, could have played on. He did take the high contact, and rather than play on, McDonald Tipperwoody goes back at a hard half forward right on the southern side, punt road end, to have a deliberate shot, but he's kicked them beautifully today, Lee.
Yeah, he has been. No, he's been exceptional. Just his speed and movement in the forward half, lining up for his 5th.
He's extremely fatigued, so this will be a toughie. He's worked for about 150 metres to get this ball.
It was great stuff. He's kicked 4. No one really making a lead. So McDonald, Tip and Woody. It's not bad, I'll tell you, it's not bad at all. Wonderful stuff. Tight angle. Seeing him brilliantly today, Anthony McDonald, Tip and Woody. That is his 5th. And normal transmission has resumed. Essendon 13-8-86. Brisbane Lions 6-8-44 for Robot Building Supplies. It is a 1-point margin the Giants' way with about 8 minutes remaining down at the Cattery.
Remembered early in the pre-season, the Lions were trying Harris Andrews deep forward just to see how that would work out. I reckon when you're 7 goals behind getting into 3/4 time, and your tall forwards have been totally dominated, like Hooker and Hurley back there and Ambrose, they're just dominating in the air. That's when you give it a fly, I reckon. You think about, okay, let's put Hipwood back, because Hipwood's not touching the balls of forward today. These are the type of margins when the game is slipping away to try something a little different.
Equals McDonald Tippenwoody's best 5. He got 5 against St Kilda late last season. From the ball up, Brisbane gained ground, but only in a rugby-like manner, and there'll be a ball up at their attacking end of the square. There mightn't be an unbeaten team in the comp by the end of the day, because the Giants are a point in front, and from what I can see, they're doing most of the attacking down at Geelong. Mitch Robinson soccers Brisbane forward. Hurley attacks the loose ball, though, did it well. Just bombs it clear like an old-fashioned defender. It might come back. No, Stringer won it superbly. Shook off 2 tackles and then weaved into the clear. Ran about 25 metres, though, and the umpire didn't miss it. There'll be a Brisbane free kick. Bomber fans' cheers are going to turn into jeers in a moment as they realise that instead of having taken a mark up in the 50, the ball's coming back. It'll now be in the other 50. Zorko kicks poorly to full forward, and Ambrose takes a mark.
Delivery into the forward 50. I mean, that's been a bit normal when you kick it straight to the opposition defender. They might as well try something a little bit different in their structural setup, personnel-wise, the Lions, because the margin is just growing, and that forward half is just like a brick wall.
Ridley got the mark delivered to him by Ambrose. Off the pack, though, they win it back, Brisbane, to full forward. It's a mark, and well done as Daniel McStay. Good pack mark. And another kick after the siren.
Maybe just whisper to Daniel McStay, Daniel, you might be down back. So that's about the first time there's been an aerial ball into the Lions forward line, and the Lions tall forward has actually come down with it. So McStay hasn't scored a goal. City in 35 out, really should goal from there. He does. So better quarter from Brisbane, but Essendon still with the answers. Third quarter brought to you by Robot Building Supplies. They've got it for all your building supplies. Essendon 13-8-86, Brisbane 7-8-50, giving Essendon a 36-point lead at three-quarter time. So a quarter to go. It's a triple header here. We'll be going to Port Adelaide and Richmond as soon as we finish matters here. Down at Geelong, it is a 2-point margin to the Giants with around about 7 or 8 minutes to go down there. You'll have all the scores, all the action, all thanks to McDonald's. You were listening to 3AW Football.